I'm gonna play a little music to play us in.
It's a good idea.
This is the Nebraska show, and welcome to Fantasy Football International. Today we're not going too far out of the nation to talk to our Nebraska expert, Brian, eating corn, wearing the Nebraska shirt. My name is Judah McNeil. This is the Fantasy Football International Paradise Players, and we're going to talk some Nebraska football.
Let's do this.
All right, so we tried to do this once, but we got disconnected. Let's try again. Where was I? Oh, so the three names that really stand out lately are Ndamukong Suh.
Yep.
Niles Paul.
And
Amir Abdullah. Actually, there's one more. Well, there's Prince Mukamara.
Yep, that's how you say it.
And let me see if I'm missing anybody. There's a bunch of defensive players. And Roy Halou. That's an important one. So what I see is a lot of defensive players coming out of Nebraska, and then running backs, mostly running backs and defensive players, some safeties.
I didn't hear one name in there. I think maybe you should go on like Rex Burkhead.
Oh yeah, Rex Burkhead, absolutely.
I would definitely put him in that list too.
Yes.
I don't think Levante David is playing anywhere right now, is he?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Yeah.
He's not starting.
Randy Gregory. Where's Randy Gregory playing right now? I forget where he got.
Randy Gregory. What year did he come out?
He just came out last year.
I don't see him. Burkhead is playing with Cincinnati, of course.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what he ended up doing. He might have had an injury.
Okay.
If that kid gets into the NFL, though, he'll be mean.
Really, Randy Gregory. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. But the ones I want to talk about specifically are, of course, Amir Abdullah and Ndamukong Suh. So did you ever get a chance to see either of them play? Specifically, Amir. If you will.
We moved here a couple years ago. I'd always been a Nebraska fan, but when we moved here, it was right at the end of Ndamukong's playing years and right at the beginning of Amir's. And they bring a lot of attention when they're on the field. I got to see both of them play in the stadium here in Nebraska once or twice, more Amir than Ndamukong, but they're both imposing players in different ways. Ndamukong's just sheer brute force and size and intimidation, and Amir is more of kind of a gentle, quiet, I'm just going to beat you, and you're not going to be able to stop me kind of player. He seems the opposite of what he should be able to do, but when he cuts, he just accelerates so fast after the cut that it's amazing to watch him do that. And you're like, that kid's going to get creamed, and all of a sudden he's gone,
Well, exactly what you said. Once he cuts, as soon as he gets through that hole, he just blows up. It just takes out of there. And he seems to have really good vision. I want to show you.
He needs good people to open that up for him, though. He's not like
a good O-line.
Yeah, if he doesn't, because that's always been one of those things. If they're not playing well together, he won't get as many opportunities to cut and make a little space for himself.
Interesting, because I don't. Let's see, the Detroit Lions. I have to look it up, but I don't think they have one of the highest rated O-lines.
No, they don't. But if he gets a little bit of space, if they're just even working well as a team, he'll get some runs.
Yeah, have you seen this?
Yes, that video is awesome.
Oh man, I can't stop watching it.
And this is classic right here. Here it goes. Boom.
Yeah,
that's a classic Amir move right there. He dips that shoulder down just a little bit. Yeah. It's pretty fun to watch.
I've been watching it over and over because I've been a big Amir fan because a couple of the people I listen to.
And he's also the kind of guy you want to root for. He's just solid. He's just he's not. I mean, his family put a big premium on going to college and getting an education and working hard. And, he could have left his junior year, but he came back and finished his senior year out because it was important to him, not just because not just for the principle of, like, I'm going to finish school. That's an important thing to my family and to me. So just as a person, he's also really cool and easygoing and easy to talk to. So you want him to do well because you want to root for a guy like that.
Dude, you're not helping me. I have such a man crush on him already. It's going to be hard not to take him in every one of my leagues.
Well, I think he's Muslim, so maybe that'll hurt. Maybe that'll
I don't know.
But he is a pretty awesome dude. And if you hear him, like, interviews with him and some of the stuff they do here when he was with the Huskers, I mean, he's just a solid guy. So
that's awesome.
Ndamukong's good too. I mean, like, you're asking specifically about Ndamukong, but he's got a little bit of a nasty streak. Like, that guy's the guy that'll step on your foot when he wants to.
Well, I'm a big Packers fan, and that's when he came onto my radar last year when he stepped on stepped on Aaron Rodgers' foot, struggling with that ankle. And people say it wasn't on purpose. But you can tell he's out for blood.
It's more like it's not like he's the dirtiest player, but he definitely knows how to play the game, like that intimidation game. And some of that is pushing a little bit when he feels like there's room to push. He's not like the Dennis Rodman of football. He hasn't gone quite that far, but
okay.
But he definitely knows, like, he can get away with stuff sometimes. He's willing to take a fine, it seems.
He seems like the kind of guy who he makes a you hate him if he's your enemy, but you love him if he's on your team.
That's exactly what it is. And, like, if you look at what he does off the field, though, he doesn't necessarily carry that attitude with him all the time. I mean, he's gotten in a little bit of trouble here and there, a little bit of driving trouble. I seem to remember there was some kind of DUI or hit and run or something when he was here in town. But, the kind of stuff college kids do when they're given a lot of money and notoriety. But he gives a lot of money to the football program at UNL, and I think he was an engineering grad. He gives a lot of money to he's got a scholarship he set up and a foundation. So he's definitely not what his perception is on the field is not necessarily the way he is all the time. He's really professional and well-spoken and easy. He does a lot of work for the people that put him. He gives back a lot to the people that gave him that opportunity. So,
well, that's interesting. That's good to know. I feel like I'm going to be rooting for him a lot this year because I am really high on the Miami defense. I feel like in fantasy football, they're going to be one of the defenses to own, mainly because of having Sue now. Did you say Suh or Sue?
Oh, no, it's Sue.
Sue. Yeah. A boy named Sue. Hey there.
Go Sue. My neighbor also named his new Labrador dog Sue, specifically because of Ndamukong Suh. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, how much? I mean, do you play fantasy football very much?
No, I suck at playing fantasy football.
But you do play.
Not really. Every now and then, every couple of years, I'll get in a league.
All right. Well, you're gonna get in our league, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. So far,
I just am not very good because I don't have enough time to devote to stats and other. Like I pay attention to what's going on around me, but nationwide's a little hard for me.
Yeah, I get that. Well, don't worry. We like having lots of people that don't know how to play.
Oh.
No, there's no buy-in or anything. It's just for fun. We're just getting a bunch of people, basically from Georgia. Well, it's the International League, so we're getting people all the way from, I think, Japan, Africa, mostly people that we went to school with and beyond.
Fun.
Let's see the other two in the news. No, well, the other guy in the news would be Niles Paul. Did you ever get to see him play?
Yeah, Niles is a good guy.
Yeah, it's too bad. He just dislocated his ankle terribly. Like it was pointed the wrong way, dislocated it. And he had just gotten a good contract and he'd been named the #1 tight end on the Washington Redskins. And that happened.
What?
Hi.
What? Shoes? Were you gonna go with Mom? No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think that is sad because he is going to be a good player. And if he can recover from that, I think he'll still be a good player. But it's definitely could be a career-altering injury. But sports medicine's a lot better than it used to be. Hopefully, it's not as bad as it sounds, and he'll be back. He's that crop of guys is pretty solid. So it'd be good if he can be back. Good player.
Well, why is it when you say a good crop of guys? Why is it that so many good players are coming out of Nebraska these days?
Let's hold our tongue to see if that happens with the new coach. But I think there was a real emphasis on defense when Pelini was here as head coach, and Nebraska's always had kind of a strong tradition, work ethic program.
Okay.
And they do some things, just the fundamental things, really well traditionally. But now we got to rebuild a little bit. I don't know that our defense is going to be quite as solid this year as it has been the next couple of years. Still got a pretty solid linebacker, some of them, but there's going to be some weakness there too. I think our offense may have more of the experience, which is interesting to see that. We'll have to see. We got a couple weekends and we'll know. But in the last 5 to 10 years, there's been a real heavy emphasis on the defensive program, and Nebraska traditionally has a big defense. They have this tradition called the black shirts, and
tell me about the black shirts. What's that?
Basically, there's this story that back when way back in the day when the Huskers were not quite far along as they are now, one of the coaches they were looking for practice jerseys for the team and didn't have enough for all the defensive players. And so he had to run to town and buy these black, throw in practice jerseys. And so after that, it became kind of that's the very, very short story. If you have some diehard Nebraska fans tell you that story, there's like names and dates and places. But basically, that's what it boils down to. And after that, it became this thing like, the defensive players, like if they reach a certain – like they always used to wear black. And then in the last couple of years, it's become more of a you earn your black shirt kind of thing.
Almost like a black belt.
Sort of, only without the karate. Yeah.
But you level up to the black shirt.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. And I don't know how Riley will do it. We'll see. Mike, he's more of a CEO-style coach. He's had NFL experience. He's had head coach experience in college. He may go back to a different style of making that happen, but this will be our first experience with him.
Where did he come from?
He was at Oregon State before this, and I think he coached San Diego before that. So we'll see. There's kind of a 50-50 attitude about him right now. But Pelini, I'll tell you what, if you go back and read any of the articles from local news sources here, he's at Youngstown now. That guy he was fun to watch in some ways, and he was scary to watch in others because you're like, man, what's he going to do to melt down this year? And if you want to burn a couple bridges after getting tossed out, like he did that about as great as he could have. Like it was.
What did he do?
I mean, he just was talking about the administration and how things went down. Like the curse words started flying. Like just we'll get some in a minute.
Oh mercy.
So he definitely wanted to be a coach. But not necessarily, when your highest paid public official in the state is your football coach, that's also going to be a political position.
Yeah, interesting.
And he didn't like that, No, not yet. Give me a minute.
Interesting. So like a political position.
Yeah, Mike Riley, I mean, it's in the capital city. You're the highest paid official in the state. You're the highest paid official at the university. I mean, that's not just a go coach your high school football players, win state. There's expectations. So he had a hard time with that. But
see, these are the tidbits that we tune in for from our Nebraska expert, Brian.
Yeah, right.
No, really,
he was a defensive coordinator before he was head coach, right? So
I didn't know that.
So he really had those first couple of years especially, he had a very strong emphasis on defense and they had a really tight group. And, our offense kind of sucked those couple of years. But we went to the Big 12 championship when Indomitian was playing. We almost won. Yeah. And then we made a couple runs at a couple other conference championships, even though we just haven't been able to pull one out recently, mostly because in those years when Indomitian was here, because we had a good, solid defense, linebackers, D-line, had a couple of really great cornerbacks, and now we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. This year's going to be tight.
It's interesting to me because I'm fairly new to football in general, and pretty new to actually more new to football and pretty new to fantasy football. But as I'm developing like the theory, like my idea of what football is about, to me it seems to be a strong connection between running backs and defense. Keeping your running backs, having a good running back, keeping control over the flow of the game, over the length of time you control the ball. It seems like it's really important to keeping the defense fresh and, keeping just control of the game in general, which it's interesting that it seems like good running backs and good defense has come out of
I would agree with that. Like you named a couple of important ones there, Rex, and it's not like they're not like the running backs from the SEC. You think about some of the guys that are coming out of that league and conference, and some of the big, thick running backs you'll see down south.
Yeah,
they're not the ones that have come out of Nebraska in the last couple of years, and we don't have them this year either.
No, it seems like more patch casting running back.
Or like they're good at running the option. They're also good at running just scrappy style,
Yeah.
Where you got to play a couple different roles.
Almost guys that can run routes, right? And know the system.
Yeah, they got to have – traditionally, I don't know how it'll go this year, but traditionally you've had guys that can catch the ball and run the ball. They're not just – can't just be a one-dimensional player. But then, I don't know. We'll see if that continues to be the case. We had a few running backs that may have – You think so? Yeah. But like Rex and Roy, out of that list of guys you listed, I like Roy the most. He's a good, solid Christian guy. I actually know Roy. Like, I've met him a few times.
Roy Halou?
Yeah. He used to come to church with us.
Wow.
The church we were going to at the time. And he's just, solid dude. He used to play with my son Josh when we were there. Like, he's the kind of guy that if he saw you in town, he was going to stop and say hi.
Wow.
Not just pass you by and be like, I'm too good for you. So, I really have always cheered for him since he went to the NFL. But he's a little more of a one-dimensional player. Like, he's got good lateral movement, but not necessarily the speed that Amir or Rex would have. Just a nice, solid guy.
Rex
and Amir definitely fit that all-around running back kind of description. They're not big, but
well, it looks like he might get a chance. Right now, what's his name? Murray. Latavius Murray is running ahead of him in Oakland, and Murray can't seem to stay healthy. He's a big upright runner who tends to just kind of beast out, which is good, but not really good for protecting your body. He just he just gives it his all, but it's running upright, which is kind of dangerous. And so last year he couldn't really stay on the field. They should have put him on earlier, but so this year if he gets hurt again, it seems to me like Halou. I think they have. Who's the guy? Not Richardson, but who's the guy that they got from Indianapolis?
You've got the internet in front of you. You ought to be able to look that up really quick.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think he's gonna be their third down back. Like you said, he's good at catching passes, and he's not really between the tackles.
Yeah, and the NFL is a much more physical game for running back because these guys are so much bigger. Those linebackers and the O-line. You got to be a little bit bigger, a little bit tougher. So, and he had some health issues a few years back. Just rebounded from that when he was in Washington, I think. Remember? So I think he'll do well, but he may not be what Amir's gonna. It may not be what Amir's gonna do. Or what Burkhead might be able to pull out if they get a chance.
Right. Trent Richardson is the only guy ahead of him. And Trent Richardson is like the laughing stock of running back disasters. Last year, I think he got maybe like 2.5 yards a carry. Just did terrible in Indianapolis, and so we'll see. He's kind of a mess up, but I think Kaluk, being the guy that you're talking about, I think the coaches, if they have a good head on their shoulders, will really like Kalu and put him ahead of.
He's a good role player if you can find the right role for him. He may not be your every down carry player, but he's a good role player.
Well, that's really interesting. That's good to know because I was looking at there's a couple of catching, pass passing. I have such a hard time saying that. Running backs I was looking at is like Danny Woodhead, Reggie Bush, and the third one I was looking at was Roy Halou, because these are all guys that are gonna get some time on third downs and could easily steal some touchdown action. I mean, Roy Halou came in and was great last year. He vultured a couple touchdowns from in Washington from mind. It's no good. Anyways, from the running back there. So it'd be interesting interesting guy to watch. I'm really looking forward to it. There's a couple of narratives that I'm looking forward to watching this year. That'll be one of them. Roy Halou, a great guy, Christian guy, solid person to root for.
I would. I wouldn't count him out for sure.
Well, cool.
Same thing with the Mukamara. I think you'll have the same issues there. He's a good, solid, hard worker, Christian guy. Seems like he's got his head on straight.
He's on the New York Giants. I will be watching the New York Giants. What is he? He's a cornerback there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Interesting.
He's got to work himself in a little bit, prove himself a little more, I think, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, he's their starting – wait, is he their starting cornerback? Yeah,
he is.
Well, he came out the same year that Halou did.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it should be interesting to watch because, of course, the New York Giants right now, their defense is crumbling. They've had so many injuries. Who's the guy who got his fingers blown off, with the firecracker? That didn't help.
Yeah, no, that did not help.
I think a lot of people are going to be watching the New York Giants defense as they have an amazing offense with Odell Beckham and company, but we'll see how their defense holds up.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, what's his name? Eli Manning was in the news today because apparently he's asking for more money than any other quarterback in the league.
I thought you were going to say he got another weird off-the-cuff endorsement deal where he had to do strange voices for a commercial or something. Like
everybody talks about.
Every time I turn around, he's doing another commercial.
Really? I haven't seen any of his commercials. I don't have TV, so are they on TV?
Where did I see the last one? I don't know if I was watching. Was it just an ad on a video I was watching online? I think it was just streaming and it, came up. So
I'm gonna look him up on YouTube.
Yeah, you should definitely go look. Eli Manning commercial. He's just all over. He and his brother are all over the place.
Well, listen, I don't want to keep you up. You just got home, and I gotta actually head home myself. So it was great talking to you, Brian. Good catching up.
It's good to catch up with you too, Judah.
And thank you for look. You're all this interesting information. On the background behind some of these guys like Halou, it's going to make me way more interested in Halou, Mukamara, but I was already like gung ho for Amir. Now I'm even more, and
would you call it would you go as far to call it like a bromance or a mush, a man crush?
You know what? I have so much invested in him right now. It's more of a business relationship.
All right. So he's kind of your football prostitute. All right.
I have him in I have 7 leagues and right now. And I grabbed him early. In all my leagues, I was getting him in the 6th, 7th round, like a month or two ago. But now I try to get him. I have to get him in the 3rd round. It's crazy.
that makes sense to me.
It stinks.
Because anybody that watches him and pays attention enough to see, oh, wait, I'm watching this kid, it's going to be like, no, I'm impressed by how he plays.
Well, and Joik Bell is the only – on the depth chart, Joik Bell is ahead of him, and he hasn't even gotten back from – he's not even on the active roster yet from his surgery. So I think it's looking pretty bad for Joik Bell and looking pretty good for Amir. Now, hey, what is the Detroit – Nebraska connection there? How come? What's the connection there?
I think it's just accidental in some ways. But when Sue went to the Lions, like they started broadcasting the Lions games here. It used to be Denver because we're close to Denver, closer in some ways.
Okay.
And so we actually get the Lions games on the radio here, like on Sundays when they're playing. So
are you guys gonna get Are you guys going to get the Miami games, perhaps?
No, I don't think that'll happen.
Okay. Well, Miami's going to – well, both Miami and Detroit are going to be great teams to watch this year. So we'll check back every now and then, get your take on things. Hey, if you can get us an interview with Halu, that would be awesome.
I don't think he's seen me long. Like I haven't actually seen him since he went to the NFL, so I doubt that's going to happen.
If you could just get me a picture of him.
He was connected. Like a friend of mine was the chaplain for the team, and he used to go to church with us. He's a friend of Mary's. Hey, and he's moved on since then. He actually moved to Florida, but he was really close with Eric Haig and Roy Halu and a few of the other players. Matter of fact, they lived in one of his rental houses. He was that close to him.
Wow.
And so they were just around all the time, We got to kind of see those guys and get to know them and stuff. So, but he moved away and doesn't get back here as often as whatever. So he's got a busy schedule to keep. And he wouldn't remember me necessarily from Adam the way that, he'd be like, oh, yeah, you guys just go to church with me. But it wouldn't be like, oh, Brian.
Yeah.
So I doubt that's
No, I was just kidding. But,
But you never know. We just go up a Hail Mary and be like, hey, Roy. I'll see if I can get a cell phone.
Well, fantasy football to me is only fun because of the narratives of the team. Like some people like fantasy football because of the stats, and that's fun. But I like buying into the players. And it doesn't help me win necessarily, but I like playing players that I like. You know what I mean? Like following stories. And now knowing Halu, I'm probably going to buy into lots of shares of Halu now because
he's a solid dude. He really is. He and Rex both just solid guys. And Amir, those 3 running backs, solid guys. So.
Who does Burkett play for?
Is he still with the Bengals right now?
Oh yeah, that's right, Bengals.
Yeah, he's with the Bengals. So.
Oh man, that's very interesting because as we talk about the running back defense connection. What's his name? Jeremy Hill is a big story this year to watch and see if he's going to be the next, big running back. A lot of people are saying he's like top 5 running back this year. You can still get him in like the end of the first round, beginning of the first round. But anyways, I got to go. You got to go. I really appreciate you tuning in.
This girl's gonna know everything there is to know about football in a few years, and I can tell she'll be ready to talk it all out.
She's got to join. She's got to join the league, man.
I know, she might have to.
Fantasy Football International.
Let's go. All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, thank you, man, and we'll check in with you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.